going to look at a couple more application problems in this video. So our first one, it says hurricanes are one of the nature's most destructive forces. The function, so we have a function next, models the barometric pressure f of x in inches of mercury at a distance of x miles from the eye of the hurricane. Use this function to find out how far the eye of the hurricane is when the barometric pressure is 29.2. So our function is important. I'm going to just rewrite it bigger. So f of x equals 0.48, the natural log of x plus 1 plus 27. And they said f of x is the barometric pressure. And your x is in miles. It's the distance from the eye of the hurricane. So this will be in miles from the center. Right, it says use this function to find out how far. So we are looking for the distance the eye of the hurricane is when the barometric pressure, right, remember that's what your whole function is equal to, is 29.2. So we're going to put 29.2 for f of x. That's the hard part. And then we're going to solve for x, which is our miles. So we want to get rid of this 27, so we'll subtract it from both sides. That will give us 2.2 equals 0.48 ln of x plus 1. We need to divide by 0.48. And that will go into your calculator, which gives us 4.583. And now I have a logarithmic equation that only has a log on one side. And so to solve that, remember, we're going to change to the exponential form. So we're going to take the base of the log, which here is e. E to this power will equal x plus 1. So I have e to the 4.583 equals x plus 1. I'm going to enter e to the 4.583 into the calculator. We have an e button, so we'll do second e to the 4.583, enter, and then we will subtract the 1, minus 1, enter. So we have 96.807. This is in miles. And you would just go with whatever position they told you to round to. Even going to the nearest whole mile is a good answer, 97. Here's another application problem. This one is from my math lab. It says the days when something happens and is not captured on camera appear to be over. The bar graph shows that by 2007, 68% of cell phones in a country were equipped with a camera. The data can be modeled by this function, f of x equals 8 plus 38 times the natural log of x. F of x is the percentage of new cell phones with cameras X years after 2002. So X is going to be our years after 2002. F of X is going to be the percentage of new cell phones. And they gave us just a picture to look at there. Our first question asks us to use this function, so our function here, to determine the percentage of new cell phones with cameras in 2004. And so our X is years after 2002. So if we want 2004, our X is going to be 2. And so this one really is just an evaluate question. This is our function. And so we want to find f of 2. And so we would just go to our calculator and we'll enter 8 plus 38 times the natural log of 2. And we're fine with order of operations here because it's going to multiply before it adds the 8. Enter. So we have 34.3. And if you match it back to your table, in 2004, they're getting 34%. So just would depend on if they ask you to round, but they didn't say. So 34.3 is fine. The next question says, if the trends shown continue, use the function to determine by which year 87% of new phones will have cameras. Round to the nearest year. So remember from the beginning, your function is telling you the percentage of new cell phones with cameras. So the 87% is going to be our f of x. And then we want to solve for x. So first we want to get our logarithm expression alone. We'll subtract the 8. So 87 minus 8 will give us 79. Then we need to divide by 38. Which from our calculator gives us 2.07894. And I went ahead and just rounded that to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to use 2.08 equals the natural log of x. And then I only have a log on one side of the equation. So for this kind, remember, you just switch the form. You go back to exponential form. So our base here is e. E to the 2.08 will equal x. And I'll put that in my calculator. So we'll enter e to the 2.08 equals, and we get 8.004. So 8 is good enough. We're looking for years, so we'll just use 8. You want to make sure that you answer the question on these, and this question asks us by which year we would have this 87%. So we plugged in the 87. We've solved for years, so in 8 years this would happen. But back in the original problem, our X stood for the years after 2002. So we have to add our 8 to 2002, and this would occur then in 2010 would be our answer.